Welcome to Gaia's Love, a podcast of brief messages to help humanity bridge the gap to the new earth. My name is Vivienne Gerard. It is my delight to be a scribe for consciousness today, sharing the wisdom that flows through from Source. Here we go. Episode 198. It is Wednesday. It's Wednesday here today. That took a minute to think about it. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous day in Cincinnati. I just love this weather. We have the windows open for a little bit. It's going up into the 80s today. But the sun is shining, the birds are singing. There's just a couple little puffy clouds. It looks like it's going to be the perfect day to maybe take a swim. It's really beautiful. And it still feels fresh. You know, when you get into the middle of the summer and you wake up and it's already sticky and hot outside, the mornings are so crisp that it feels refreshing in the morning, and then it's just getting hotter during the day. I went for a run early this morning. Now that it's light out, you can actually get outside for a run at 6:30. And everything is just starting to wake up. I took a picture, which I'll share. Well, there were two. I took one of the sun coming up, which was beautiful, and another one of this peony that was just starting to open for the day. It was it's just gorgeous. You can feel the fullness of it, but it must have closed in a little bit over the night because I got chilly. And so it was starting to open up as I was running by. So I stopped and took a picture. Yeah, it's really beautiful. Today is a perfect spring day. Yeah, what would we do if we didn't start by talking about the weather, right? Can you imagine if I just started and jumped right in and we talked about souls and philosophy and life? Like, you gotta sort of have that easing into it. The weather is such a great way to do that. I don't know if you find that in your conversations when you're just starting to acclimate to a space or step into a new conversation. It's so easy to just go to the weather, especially now with climate change. There's just tons to talk about with people you don't know, and it creates a bridge or a common landing space, for us to step into whatever the next conversation will be. All right, so what is the next conversation today? What are we playing with? Well, I'll tell you the title, and then we'll see how we're going to get to it. So when I was meditating, this whole morning, I just haven't thought about what I'm going to talk about because I just keep surrendering. I don't know. I'm going to find out sometime before the recording begins, but I don't know where we're going half the time. So this morning, I could feel how I needed to do some more clearing of my own things that I'm working through, and I had the energy gym call last night, and I was just able to just share and express some more of what's been happening in my own journey, and release like some of what I feel happening collectively. So it was a beautiful Tuesday night call. I'm telling you, that space is pure fun. It is energy with this laughing word of gym behind it. It is energy play, and it's one of my favorite creations so far. We're just having a really beautiful time in that space. So you should check it out because it's good. It's really, really good. But I shared more last night. And then today, my run always helps me clear energy. And then I went into a short yoga, and that helps me clear some more. And then meditation. So by the time I arrive here in this space, prepared for the podcast, I'm usually pretty clear of whatever junk or gunk has been on my mind or moving through. And so today, when literally right before I started recording, it was maybe 2 or 3 minutes before I started recording, I could hear the song by Fleetwood Mac playing. I don't know if you know the song. It's called Never Going Back Again. The lyrics, I didn't print out all the lyrics, but what I remember is, been down one time, been down two times, I'm never going back again. I was humming that song. It's all I could hear in my mind as I was wrapping up my meditation and preparing to start this call. So the title is I'm Not Going Back Again, which just feels so perfect. So what does all of that mean? One of the things that I hear Esther Abraham Hicks talk about often, and what I have heard myself saying over and over in meditations and healing sessions, is once you are aware, you can no longer go back to sleep about the thing that you are aware of. In Esther's words, she would say, once you have reached a vibrational resonance, that is your new point of attraction. That is where you are manifesting from. You don't go backwards. You are constantly expanding and becoming more. And so once you reach that next level of whatever your expansion is, you're attracting and playing in a different energetic field than you were in the last space that you were in. It's like, it's not like education or like the educational system. It's not. But there's a small parallel that we could bring. Once you have completed kindergarten, you move on to first grade. You don't go back to kindergarten. I mean, you can. They have this thing called holding someone back, right? If there's more work that needs to be done. And so that's why it's not a complete parallel to education, because the educational system has quite a few flaws, quite a few places where it needs to be tweaked. And yet, if we look at that sequence, once you know what you know in first grade, you're ready to go to second grade, and you don't have to go back to first grade. Once you know what you know in middle school, you are ready for high school, or maybe not, but you're ready for that expansion into high school. And so why go back to middle school? You've already learned what you need to learn there, so move on into high school. Once you graduate high school, you're ready for whatever it is that's coming next in your journey. Whatever path you're choosing to follow, you're ready for that. And then once we keep expanding, sometimes it feels like we'll use the example of graduating from high school. If you graduate from high school, like I did, and you do what you're supposed to do, which is go off to college, you're on this pathway. And so we are used to the sequence of the way things go. So for me, I started my freshman year and I went to this private school that was very expensive. And even with scholarships, it was a lot. It was a stretch for me to be there. And so I did what I was supposed to do, and I started the first year, and it was awesome. It was so cool. I had so much fun. And then they raised tuition significantly. And so I took a detour. I went back home and I lived with my parents, and I got a job, and then I got another job, and then I got a different job, and I decided, right now, school is not the best next step for me. It's making some money so I can afford to pay for it myself and not take on all these big loans. So when I was ready for the next expansion, I didn't go back to high school. I didn't go back to my freshman year in college. I started my sophomore year in college at a different college. So you kind of take these detours, and we move around, and sometimes we do one job and then we think we're complete with that, so we're going to try a different job. And are we moving backwards when we do that? I don't believe so, because every experience we have is teaching us something. It's showing us something. So we can never go back to the job we've done and be back at the beginner's level of that job again. We've already learned what we learned at that job. So even if we go back, we know more than we did last time. So we're going to do the job differently. And so we're constantly evolving in our intelligence, hopefully, in our awareness, hopefully, in our ability to be present, our ability to love, our ability to manage this mind, body, spirit, human chaos that we chose to come and have as souls in human bodies. Hopefully we are getting better and better at it. So when we have these moments like I described yesterday, where we go into our shit and we are sitting in the muck and we wonder if we've learned anything. We wonder why the fear is so real, why the process isn't working the way that we thought it would, why we're back down in the dumps again, or whatever our version of all of that is. When we go back to those places, part of what I shared yesterday is, for me, like, I judge myself. What happened to me? Haven't I learned enough? Haven't I mastered energy yet? Why am I back in the same pattern? What is true, what I know to be true, and what I bring into this podcast is we're not back to the way back where we used to be. We may have slid back a little bit because there's something still to clear, but we're already more aware in that place we slid back to than we've ever been before. And then we'll come out of it typically much faster, and we'll rise to a higher or a more expansive place than what we were before we went into that little slide. We're constantly becoming more aware, becoming more loving, expanding what we know, what we believe, how we trust ourselves. And so even in the sliding back, we're higher vibrationally than we were the last time we slid back. And so when we come out of it, we're going to be more elevated than we were last time. Esther describes it beautifully. There was an audio I was listening to either last night or this morning, and it's exactly what she was saying. Oh, it was this morning on my run. And she said, we are, how did she say it exactly? Your point of attraction is evolving with you. So as you expand, that point of attraction in your life is more expansive. And even if you slide backwards a little bit, as soon as you come back, you're coming back to more expansion, to a higher level of attraction than you were before. And so your life, in her words, your life just keeps getting better and better and better. And as you practice releasing and being present and focusing on what it is you're creating, what it is you want to experience, holding your vibration, your energy as high as you can in the moment, as positive or optimistic as you can in the moment, you're just going to keep evolving, expanding that energy. A lot of the descriptions or words that Esther uses are, she talks about law of attraction and vibration and positivity. For me, what I always prefer is fear or love. Which one are you choosing? And the more you choose love, the easier it becomes to keep choosing love. The more love you create in your daily experience, the less room there is for fear. And to me, love equates to joy and happiness and freedom and choices and abundance and play. Love captures all of that up inside of the vibration of the word love. So if we're focusing on love, all of those things are going to arrive because love creates more of all of that. If we're focusing on fear, like I did on Monday night, if you focus on fear to me goes downward. It spirals me down. It's heavy. It's sad. It pulls me into places where I feel hopeless or abandoned or betrayed or whatever words I choose to add. Fear pulls me down. It doesn't feel good inside of me. It makes me doubt myself and everyone around me. So when I can release, sometimes that's faster than others, but when I can release fear and breathe through it and focus on anything that's connected to love. As I described yesterday, often that's music. Music helps me rise up out of fear. Music, the sounds of the birds chirping outside the window, the smell of the flowers in my garden, the blue of the sky, hugs from those who I love. Like those things that are connected to love, they bring spaciousness into the fear. They make the fear less dense, so I can remember love, and then feel a little bit more love. Sometimes, like I said yesterday, I have to sleep it off. I have to go to bed and sleep, because I know when I'm asleep, I'm surrounded by love. I'm enveloped in love. All of the beings that surround our planet, all of the angels, whatever name you want to give to energy like that. My soul, when I sleep, my soul reminds me everything is harmonious and one and beautiful. So when I wake up in the morning, I'm already at a more loving place than I was the night before. And then I focus on the things that remind me of love, and slowly I can, maybe quickly, I can expand out of that place of fear and flow into more love. Moving my body is a really powerful way to shift my vibration, to literally run out the fear. Or, the best combination, I said this to my husband this morning in a message, I'm like, is there anything better than Ave Maria by Ashana in my ears, the breeze blowing around me while I'm running, and the sun coming up in the sky in front of me? Like, is there any better workout than that? I mean, it doesn't get a whole lot better. And when I'm in that flow of energy, and my body and my mind and my spirit are singing together, there isn't room for fear anymore. And so I'm not going back again. Not going back again to that space that I was in before. I will, I'm sure, have many more moments of fear, and have many times where I'm questioning and doubting what's going on around me. But it will never be the vibration it was on Monday, or the vibration it was last week, or the vibration it was a year ago. It will never be at that point again, because I am evolving. I am holding and transmitting and feeling more love inside of me than I ever have before. So I'm not going back to where I was. Not going back to that again. And as we all continue this purification and continue choosing love and expanding love, the density of fear, the power of fear, the ability for fear to grip us and shake us and put us down for the count, it's going to get weaker and weaker. The choice always for love over fear eventually will just become automatic. And every cell in our body will be attuned to love. And so when fear pops up, the cells of our body will say, I don't recognize what that is. And there are moments I definitely get this. Someone will say something to me that is so full of fear. I'm like, huh? What? I don't understand. It's like another language. What? What are you saying? How could you think that? Because there's no way that that's true. Like, not one cell in my body believes what you just said. And so, of course, that sounds kind of harsh, but it happens to me more often than you would realize. Oh, gosh. And then when I look at someone who's just said something that I think is absolutely crazy, and they're repeating something from the news or something that they've heard told over and over again, but it's so foreign to what I believe and what I feel and what I know is possible that it's literally like we are speaking two different languages. That's usually when, for example, a great one, my dad. He's so awesome. He watches the news, and so he's always caught up in what's happening around the world. And there are times he'll say something to me and I'm like, what? I don't know what you're saying. What are you telling me? He's like, how do you not know that? This happened in the news 3 weeks ago. How do you not know this person's name? What? You ignorant child. And I just have to laugh because I'm like, I don't live in that reality that you're living in. And so I don't understand what you're saying to me. I love him so much. We just have different we have different beliefs and philosophies, and neither one is right or wrong. It's just where we're both choosing to play. But there are those moments where the two sort of overlap, and we both look at each other like, you're nuts. uh, the good thing is there's such strong love between my dad and I that it doesn't really faze either one of us. He's like, yeah, you're crazy and I still love you and I don't understand you. And I'm like, yeah, you're crazy. You're living in fear and I don't get it, but I love you anyway. Oh, God, it's hysterical. I crack myself up. So, point of all that is that none of it is wrong. Everyone is exactly where they choose to be. And for me, I choose to not go back again, to not slide down into those places that I know are not true, that I know are coming from fear and doubt. And when I tune back into love, when I allow myself the practices and the time and the self-care and the compassion to surround myself in love, to receive love, to be love, there isn't a pull back. There isn't a need to sit in those stories that I know are not true. And so it takes practice, it takes commitment, it takes a willingness to be so present with each phase along the way that we can learn from it, we can release it, and then we don't have to go back again. So yeah, there you go. If you need some inspiration, I would suggest listening to the Fleetwood Mac song because it's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. All right, I will meet you tomorrow for episode 199. How fun is that? What a fun number, 199. Wonder what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Not going back again. Have a beautiful Wednesday. Thank you for tuning into this vibration of pure love. I invite you to join me in aligning with the optimal health of your mind, body, spirit in the virtual community of Viv's Energy Gym. You can learn more at mysouljourney.com. Let's take this message of Gaia's love out into all of our relationships and communities today. So much love from my heart to yours.